Libra, I get a lot of synchronistic messages whilst I'm in the bath. And I'm in the bath, and all I can hear is Libra, 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 Libra needs a reading now, now, now. And I'm like, all right, Libra, chill. I'm in the bath. Like, how rude are you? But now I'm out the bath. I've sat down, I'm situated. I've pulled you a spread. It's programmed, it's here, and we're ready to go, and you're looking at it. And the title is Manic Magic. I love it because you were sounding a little bit manic, if I do say so myself, when you were screaming at me for a reading. You may have ADHD. You may be very yin and yang, bipolar, whether you do or don't have a diagnosis. We're going to talk about that. I don't want you to be scared and run away and think that I'm trying to diagnose anyone, because I'm not. I have very unique beliefs about mental health. So I guess that's why you're here today, because I want you to be able to believe in yourself and not be alarmed or concerned or fearful when you hear words like manic, when you hear words like ADHD, when you hear words like bipolar or borderline personality disorder, when you have people shit on you, and when you're like a torpedo, a bull in a china shop, a nuclear weapon in personality and energy, absolute wild nutcase may be a term you've heard before. Whether or not that sits with you positively or negatively, I think is a pass for. You know who you are, or I want to install that thinking inside of you today. I want you to feel safe. Obviously, this is a clairvoyant intuitive reading using tarot. I am not a clinical professional. I am the hermetologist. I take very unique constructs and bring them together based on spirituality and science. So I can't diagnose, and this is not a clinical process, but I do want to go there with you. The first disclaimer I want to put in place is really go, hey, trust whoever's giving you a diagnosis, trust the process that you're on through medication or prescriptions or psychiatrist or psychological reviews or therapy. Trust the process that you're in. You're safe to be yourself within it, yeah? But allow yourself to soar and really, really be you, yeah? The action position is the ADHD, and you're an amazing person. You could have been a squirrel in a past life. I see that. I see you in my mind's eye, okay? And I see you're such a wild lunatic. And I want to say so much stuff like that, but once again, I don't want to trigger anyone on the line to make them feel like they're mentally retarded. That's what I wanted to say. I don't want you to be scared of the word retarded, mental, special needs, educational, health, or I don't want you to be triggered by any of those words, spastic. We'll say it. Because I understand all of those labels personally, coming from a neurodiverse background, being clairvoyant and seeing dead people and doing what I do for a living. I see the other side, I connect with the other side, I hear voices. I could easily be caught up in all of these paradigms. I've had to study mental health a long time on my own, and I've often been called a nutcase, crazy, wild, out there, you're wrong, you're mental, love, you know, and it isn't nice. It's very uncomfortable and it's very restricting. And I've also been on medication at periods of time just to help with a range of symptoms that were actually not even mine. At one point, I was on 12 tablets a day. A lot of that was for chronic pain and low mood. And I was carrying vibrational resonance from other people. Yeah. Psychosomatic symptoms are what I had for a lengthy window of time that didn't need drugs or medication, and chronic pain was something that I needed to work through more of a chakra body scan, energy awareness, than I did actually need any medical attention. So you may be going in between phases of medication, then none, medication, then none, because you're seeing how it makes you feel. There's been conversations I've had with my GPs in the past about my clairvoyance and whether or not medication that would suppress that would be a pathway I would like to go down. We speak about ADHD and how it numbs what people could be seen as, or what could be seen as manic in the person. So if someone takes ADHD medication, they immediately, depending on the severity of their ADHD, can become really, I want to say flaccid, awful word to use in context, but I want to say flat, I want to say lifeless, I want to say numb, I want to say a little bit empty, a little bit dull. Everything's glazed over, yeah? Things just become a glaze. Life becomes glazy, and to the point where that eventually becomes hazy. Some drugs that you're on, you're not meant to be on them too long because things just become hazy. First of all, if you're, like, I've taken drugs for low mood, yeah, after going through a lot in my life, and initially it was a glaze I needed because I'm busy and I've got to work and I'm grieving 3 family members and I'm recovering from homelessness. I'm in a really sticky situation. I've got a lot of psychological factors and abusive energies, in my opinion, around me. I'm going through a lot of past trauma. I'm working through it, and I just need to silence things. I can't work and use my spiritual gifts either at this time. I've got 3 family members dead on the other side. I can't go to the other side right now. So, me going to the other side every now and then is part of my ritualistic healing, my process, my cure, my life. I'm a shaman. I'm a tarot reader. I'm a medium. My life, my career, my work, my job. I can't even do my job properly. And I've got abusive individuals around me at this time as well that I'm scared to even identify as abusive. Yeah? Mayhem. So, manic as fuck. And I'm wild and creative and I'm building her Hermatology Limited. And I'm depressive as fuck. And I'm also freelancing as well and working. Separate to that, working for the man. Imagine, yeah? Of course I'm fucking feeling like shit. But I'm doing the best I can and I'm pushing through. And in that moment, clarity. I was torn because I wanted to speak about the haze, but I wanted to speak about clarity. So I'm connecting with someone who is at a very pivotal point on their journey of what would be seen as mental illness, but I will say neurodiverse functioning, and I will say someone who is teetering, tottering between whether or not I should or should not be on this medication. Because like I said, when I first went on the medication and I was glazed, it was nice because I was slowing down. I was not overwhelmed sensorily. Sensorily means your senses, but we talk about the 6th sense. We talk about the clair senses. So we have clair senses, then our normal 5 senses, but then also we have a 6th sense. Yeah? So there's a lot more senses than you could ever imagine. And they get suppressed with medication. We ground all of them and you focus on the 5 senses. Anyone who is ADHD, anyone who's on the spectrum, anyone who's neurodiverse, they operate with a lot more ammunition and fire beyond the 5 senses. They're not 5 senses beings, yeah? They're alternative functioning humans. When I say it like that, that sounds so silly. I couldn't think of the word. But things are not so black and white with you. And you're up, you're down. Like, I get someone who crashes a lot. Yeah? So I like the fact that I've been through a lot of stuff that I can really share. It makes sense why I do this. Because what I get with the Fool card, the action card is the ADHD you. So let's get that right. That's the action that you should be taking. You're in your power when you're in this ADHD moment. Because what you're doing, right, you give me someone who would be amazing in Web3, in decentralized work, because you harvest incredibly well. You ever seen the viral clip of the telephone pole that is filled with nuts? A really massive long telephone pole. And the man opens it with a key and out come nuts just pouring out. Imagine how long that fucking squirrel's been there using that lamppost, just locking in day and night. And everyone's seeing that squirrel running around, not knowing what the fuck that squirrel is really doing. That squirrel is locked in mission. Clear sight, using its clear senses, using its wit, intelligent, understanding its environment, creating a better life for itself, and a nest egg, You're nesting in a major way. Not everyone can see that. The people around you, when you spew out your words, look at the moon card, in the past, when you spewed out words, it hit all of these people. And these people are just like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what's going on. You're crazy. You're a toxic person. Yeah? Real talk. This is what I'm getting. It's hilarious. Because you could be LGBTQ. You could be into queer, non-binary, dress up. You're just a vibe. Let's be fucking honest. You're an absolute fucking vibe. You're lit AF. And these people are fucking drains, drips. Ugh. Literally, all I hear is the sound of the tap dripping, drip, 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 drip. I mean, your whole family was a drip. Your whole network was a drip. Your whole collective was a drip. Your whole surrounding environment was a drip. Imagine you being the moon surrounded by drip, drip, drip. And these same drips are the reason that you was on medication in the first place. Could have your own cooking channel on YouTube. You could be into cooking, doing your own show, or you could have appeared on some kind of cooking channel, I get, more than anything else. Weird. Cooking show, I get. Now I'm getting like Foot Asylum, their little cooking show. I'm getting, what's that other one? Great British Bake Off, is that the one? I'm getting that too. I'm also getting Alison Hammond. Weird. I love a bit of Alison. I haven't seen her in ages. Is she still doing her thing on This Morning with Dermot O'Leary? Who knows? I don't ever seem to be up around that time. I don't even watch normal television. Yeah? Do not start me off on BBC demanding licenses to watch YouTube and to live stream on YouTube. There's a lot of legal that I am not happy about, that I will not stand for. But we sidestep that conversation because I just got a range of visions from UK TV shows. Let's throw Mary Berry in there for good measure. Also, Tubi is recommended as a great watch. It is a free streaming network, but actually it's my favourite. I feel the need to speak about this, so take it as it resonates. I don't know who this is for, but you've also got ADHD, so you get what it means when you go on a tangent. Truth of the matter is, Tubi has such a gorgeous collection. Stay with me, I'm getting to the point of this. Has a gorgeous collection of movies that are off cuff. They're not the most recognised, they're not the highest ranking, but there's still good quality there. And what also Tubi do, this is not a paid promotion, but it probably should be. So I'll at them and I'll contact the CEO and find out if he's a Libra and then send him this. And if it happens to be true, then you can tell it's destiny. Because clearly now I'm an advocate for Tubi. Because the quality Bollywood, black entertainment, they're really stepping out. I don't know who the CEO is, I don't know who the co-founders are, I don't know what pushed them in this direction, but I really see that as a really strong streaming platform, and it's free. It's a free platform, it's performing incredibly well, and there's so much variety there. And you know what it does? It provides a really gorgeous gateway for the less popular content. Yeah? What are we doing about the less popular content? The less popular people? The people that are not getting seen? Because some of those movies are expensive to make. A lot of movies I would never normally watch as well. And I'm going, do you know what? No, let's see that. and you get inspired, it gets interesting. We're really talking about some amazing classics. And some things, sometimes when I'm searching, I'm frugal when it comes to money, yeah? I'm searching, where is this? Do I have to pay for this or is this free? Let me see. Is this extra fees for this one? Yeah, okay. Is that free anywhere? Let me see. Because there's so many services where it is free, right? Don't start me off on Hermatology Limited and what we are doing regarding decentralization and the oversaturation of the market and how we're going to utilize that in the future. But Tubi's an incredible example of that already happening. They are really only a small node or link of decentralization, but they're well enough, their ecosystem is really, really stable and provides so much more opportunity for those who are selling their entertainment to the network versus us who are receiving it for free as well. But I'm getting sidetracked, but there's something in there for you about Web3 and decentralization. Go and check that out if you're into movies, if you're into creating things, if you're looking to get yourself out there, if you've got your own TV series, if you want to do your own cooking show, if you want to make your own horror movie, they've got some really nice horrors over there. If you need some inspiration, you're looking for something different, if you're fucking sick of Netflix, you're sick of all the standard kind of stuff out there, I can't watch Netflix really. If there's something out and it's really recognised and it's blowing up and it's going viral and I want to watch it and see, or I know it specifically and there's a new season, fine, I'll go and watch it. But for a window of time when I'm really, really high functioning neuro, I cannot stop and go to Netflix. Impossible. Tubi seemed to be more on my level because it was more earthy. I don't know why. Some stuff's so commercialised and so fake and so, just it's too much. So there's something on Tubi for you, okay? At least one show, one series, something juicy over there for you to watch. That's a recommendation that's long-winded. Okay, so that's the middle card of, you know whether or not you should or should not be on your meds. Obviously, you're going to speak to your GP and any professional around you regarding all of that. I am not responsible for your mental health. I am not a clinical professional. This is merely a clairvoyant, intuitive reading for the general collective of Libra. I know none of you. Anything I say is based on magic alone. My own manic magic. So there is no way to know if this is genuinely for you, but we listen to the story for a deeper understanding of self. Okay, I don't know you. Disclaimer, I don't know you. Yeah? So we've got to be careful here, guys. We're in sticky terrain when we're talking medication and mental health. So bear that in mind. Moving forward, have that gorgeous experience with yourself where, how do you feel when you're glazed? And then when does that medication start to hit haze? That's the point, okay? Sorry we went everywhere with that. But you take the medication at first and you get glazed and it's nice. But then you plateau and you hit haze. And then you get hazy. And then life becomes a drag, a blur, low vibrational, because that part of you that still needs to rise again and be active and wild again is now blatantly blocked. And that could be a blocker to what people would deem mania, a manic episode, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. But the fool here says, what the fuck is that? Go to an indigenous tribe, go and speak to the shaman, go to any community group that lives outside of the West in a retreat or any spiritual place and ask them about what you experience. They're not going to tell you it's bipolar. They're not going to tell you it's a manic episode. They're going to say you're having a spiritual journey. You're in the middle of deep awakening. You're having a consciousness shift. You're going through a Kundalini rising. You're awakening, yeah? There's something shifting inside of you, and you need to be able to work through that in your own unique way. I know people that have like serious bipolar episodes or manic depression and go back and forth in these areas, and they've labelled that, and as for themselves, and they're happy with that, and they'll take their medication and they're fine with it. But if you're not one of those people and you feel there's other ways to manage your mental health, and you have alternative beliefs about modern medicine and about health and wholeness, mind, body and soul, and how you work, you're allowed to discover that for you. Yeah, I'll never take a diagnosis away from anyone. There's so many, I've been to lectures, seminars, I've met people, had serious conversations where they've identified, and if someone outrightly goes to me, I'm bipolar or this or that, and they're on medication and they're talking to me like that, then I will refrain from this kind of conversation entirely. I wouldn't even go there, because I wouldn't want to put doubt or instability in anyone's mind. If that's who you are, and that's where you're at, and that's your diagnosis, it takes a long time to get a diagnosis sometimes as well. And some people find healing in their diagnosis. Whereas other people who may not even be diagnosed on the line, but other people are like, no, there's more to me, and I want to explore it. And a diagnosis is nice, or may be nice, but I need to know why I do this, and then why I do that. And I have highs and lows and ups and downs. I get here someone who has a lot of highs and lows, like, and you crash out. I went through a phase, yeah, when I was at the peak of developing Hermetology Limited, where I would have, and I was moving entirely away from any working for anybody else, no freelancing, just me. And you're in limbo, you're in lieu. You work for yourself, you're a content creator, entrepreneur, CEO of your own company, or run your own business, whether you have a big team, a small team, or it's just you, your schedule, every day you live and breathe is for you. What I was doing also global. Anyone doing digital or technology, global. So imagine the struggle of having a specific kind of structure. You left school, you went to school for these hours, you worked here, you done this every day. You had a best friend or a team or a colleague or a group of friends, you all done this every day. The moment you leave that reality, that community or ecosystem, and go and travel on your own, like the full card here, when you're in the challenge and mission position, you've gone off on your own. To look at all colours of you, all the layers of you. The black and white of you needs to be investigated. Could be mixed race, biracial, but we could also talk about your yin and yang more than anything else, the layers to you. You could you could identify as a grey, you could believe in the aliens, the extraterrestrials. You have unique gifts and abilities, you see, you manifest, you're making magic happen in your reality. So as that is going on, you're working through all of this, and you've got to create your own schedule now. What time do you wake up? Because you could go to sleep at 4 a.m. You could start your day at 4 p.m. Do you get what I mean? You could work at night. You could do a 9 to 5, still your schedule. You can work 10 to 6. You can work 12 hours straight, no break. Yeah? Then you've got to fit in gym, exercise, eating, family, friends, lovers, dating, other things you've got to do, Skype calls, Zoom calls, conversations, colleagues, crypto, stock, building, technology, networking. To create an empire, it's not easy. So whoever this is and whatever you're doing, there is so much to it. And what I always say about modern psychology and clinical psychology today is, I have no manual for the social media influencer, for the only flat fans influencer, for the entrepreneur, for the CEO, yeah? Because they're not living a standard life. So the DSM-5-TR, which is the diagnostic statistical manual for mental health, yeah, that we use kind of globally, but that originates from America. America lead the way with that massive manual of what is normal for human. Bear in mind, gay used to be sickness. Yeah? Witches used to be burned. So we can kind of look at the book made by man, supreme white man at that. No offence, I'm biracial, I'm mixed, but supreme white man made this book many moons ago when Salem witch trials were a thing, and when gays were imprisoned and stoned to death. Still are in some locations. So we're not going to put our whole life and bet every ounce of us on that book, are we? I wouldn't want to do that, just in case. And clairvoyance isn't real still, so that book can burn. Get it away from me now. But do I use that all the time? To understand me, yeah? So let's not burn it. I need to understand how the world works. And actually, do a load of people use that to be stable and grounded, to do their job every day? Yeah, they do. So let's not burn that. Do I refer people to clinical practices and tell people to go to therapy and tell people about these different mental health conditions based on the book? Yeah, I do. But do I also let them know that you're all unique and you function differently and that man made that book and God is the supreme? Yeah, I do. Because that's my unique belief. Do you see that? Do you see where we just went in conversation? So your idea of being manic shouldn't be a fear factor. It should be your magic. Yeah? Because you are manifesting something never seen before on this planet. My point was, when I was doing hermetology, I was high, low. Because my schedule, I was free as a bird. You ever been free before? No. What does that look like? I don't know. Probably looks fucking manic. Looks like manic magic when you're free. Wild. I was working 22-hour days, yeah? Life had become nothing other than me in a vortex. I was warping out. Life was beautiful. I had papers all over the walls and writing all over the walls with it. I was deep conspiracy theorist, deep pseudoscientist. I was walking around mostly naked in a sarong and a pashmina, like, as a top. Just walking around minimal clothes, shaved my head off thinking I was Morpheus in this bitch. And all I do is write code, write equation. I've got schematics. I've got ecosystems. I'm doing field engineering. I'm doing quantum mechanics. Never done it in my life, but it's flying out my cranium. The divine's telling me this. My ancestors are telling me that. I must go to the forest and commune with Gaia. Like, fuck y'all. Yeah? Fuck your standard processing. Fuck all of your perceptions of me and what I am doing at this time. Because, pull up to hermetology.me. It feels like I really did bust case with my mental health when I was going through a manic magic episode, when I was learning my own unique cognitive processing, which cannot be defined in any blood clot manual on the planet. Although the manual is lovely for a status quo of humanity, I am not the status you can quo here. Period. Yeah? That's the point of this reading. That's the miracle we came to drop today. Because you're elite. I want to gas the place up now. I'm going to chill. You're elite. You've got something amazing. You're manifesting something amazing. You do amazing things. I get content. I get content creation. I get you building an empire. And I know it's scary. I'm really concerned. And it's like disclaimer all over this. Because mental health's a dangerous conversation to have. So I hope I've hit the mark with you guys. And I feel confident in myself that I haven't gone anywhere too unhinged and created any distortion in your realities, because it's a very dangerous game to speak on mental health. Like I said, I'll put this as a disclaimer in the title, and disclaimer again, Libra, disclaimer. These are general. I don't feel any harsh energy coming through. I feel safe to do this, but disclaimer, you know. Last card in the future, Ace of Wands, yeah? I love this Ace of Wands because on this, it's growing, yeah? Your ace, so this lets me know a standard Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning for you, or this is actually Page of Wands, sorry. But a standard Ace of Wands or Page of Wands, it's just a stick. It shows me you've long been that character. You're young at heart, yeah? You're really, really young at heart, yeah? Do you know what? Geniuses and the smartest people, the ones with the highest intellect, they have a really, really high IQ, but their child age, or their is it called? It's called some kind of, I think it's like their younger age. There's a word for it. I can't tell you what it is now. But like their child age, you could be 50, but 12. Do you get what I mean? Like your age is so fascinating in this story because you're young at heart. Your inner child drives you. And that's a big thing with ADHD as well. And a lot of these mental health disorders, and all kinds of trauma. Trauma will drive you to the dark side, and trapped trauma in your nervous system, in your chakras, will take you to manic episodes that are dark and polarity, yeah? Whereas it's the light and it's the healing and it's the positive and it's the rituals and the good things that you do that take you to the lighter side, yeah? So when you do something in life for too long and you start getting low or manic or acting out different, it's because you're no longer a vibrational match for that. Because some people can work to 9 to 5 for 4 years and have no imbalance. But some people can't even work a 9 to 5 for 1 week or 1 day without instability. Yeah? And that's the unique thing that we must understand. You're unique. So you have to discover what works for you. This is a really interesting week on the channel because we're talking quite a lot. Gemini had a similar energy. They were leaning on a spiritualist that they were paying to be a guide for them. And they were going to them and they were crying to them. And that person was just feeding off their energy, giving them some any bullshit guidance, like stroking their own ego, like, I'm a guru, let me look after you. When they can't even help them, really. They're just taking their money and they weren't really a good energy coming through. And they were really distorting Gemini's ability to just flourish on their own and find their way eventually, you know? Like, because someone's got a label as priest or pastor or guru or spiritual advisor, it don't mean shit. And if any good clinical professional or any good spiritual advisor, the main thing that they will tell you is, you know the way, not me. I'll tell you all this stuff, but disclaimer, I'm letting you know this, but you're the power here. That you always give the power back to the client. You always give the power back to the reader. You always give the power back to the user, yeah, the consumer. The customer is always right. And when people's mentality isn't like that, you got to question that. And that means family and friends. So if family and friends try to diagnose you, if your therapists or clinical professionals or your bodyguard, your solicitor, if they try and imprint onto you what is right for you and they don't give the power back to you, especially if you're paying them, you need to look at that. They're not here to stroke your ego, but they have no right to imprint their perception of you on you as a solidified whole for your identity. Does that make sense? No one can build a construct of you and solidify it and go, there you go, that's you. That's you tomorrow. That's you next week. That's you since you were 4. That's you at 19. That's you today. There is no other you. We've defined you. Read it. Here's the paperwork. We diagnosed you with this. This is what you are. No. Some people in life grow and some people in life evolve. People who evolve, we shift paradigms. We break through illusion. If you're listening to this, you're not a standard person. No one over here on this channel with this alien embolism is a standard person. This is a neurodivergent channel. You're definitely neurodiverse. You're operating differently. Like I said, you think that our OnlyFans girl can go to a normal therapist or see a normal person and expect them to truly understand what it means to do that every day for a living. A social media influencer with 1M, 2M, 3M. People don't even understand what it means to be a social influencer, really. Even on Insta or any platform. Getting recognized all the time. When I was coming up and my numbers were still low, but I was doing the research, I had less than 2k and I was getting recognised in the streets, in the borough that I lived in, because the way that the algorithm works and the area that you're working, you'll pick up, and I was using Snapchat and all this stuff, I was getting recognised. Yeah, and I knew people from Snapchat who were getting recognised and I thought it was quite cool and I thought that was the way I wanted to go in my career. When I actually started getting recognised from Insta and I had someone come up to me going, oh my gosh, I know you from Instagram, oh my God! I was like, whoa. Let me reassess life. And I was at a very pivotal time in my life at that point as well. I was going through hell and I was like, this ain't for me. God steps in and saves you in magical ways. In that moment, I thought, this ain't for me. I'm at less than 2k on Instagram. Really. I don't need that. Then we revised the plan, looked at life, manifested some more. Now go to hermatology.me. Check out all of the stuff we are doing over there. Yeah? Evolution. So many more ways you can go in your career when you allow yourself to think, okay, I don't want to be trapped in this kind of paradigm of where an influencer has to be just this way, a celebrity just has to be this way, or life has to be just this way. There's so much more you can do. It's a testament to you. If I'm talking about me, but that's how I share, right? So take it or leave it. But when you go to hermatology.me, you'll see there's music, there's a school, there's technology, then there's the homepage with just all the most important literature to me that's relevant to the public, in my opinion. Also, it's worth advocating for all of this literature at this time, or having this in the locker as important knowledge. Then we've got the press, which is my actual publications that are related to developments of the business and really important stuff that I'm working on at this time. Yeah, Solutions is also over there, and God knows there's other stuff that's not even out, like policies are not even public right now. I put them on private just to rest my brain, because the company is actually dormant at this point in relation to trade. Yeah, I'm still researching around the clock as a company director, making content that gets 0 views. Do you get what I mean? Can I go to a clinical professional and talk to them about what I'm going through with hermatology.me and my 0 views across the platforms and my suspension from X? Can they relate to that? And then my other X's, my 50 million other X accounts that I do have, that also have minimal traction. And the fact that I'm creating my own algorithm or algorithmic registrar to manage this shit. Where do we stop? Where do we start? And how do we define all these things? I would have never built any of this. I would not be doing this funky, edgy reading now if I did not go into my shadow self and master me and ignore all the other people that said tarot's crazy, tarot's demonic, tarot's evil. No, clairvoyance, that's sick. You're a necromancer. You're a creepy person if you're a medium. You see dead people. Oh, you see ghosts. Ugh. Fuck out of here, please. Let me work on me. Let me work out what kind of medication I need, because my medication could be sun. My medication could be meditation. My chakra healing, journaling, studying, research, literature. In school, I had barely any GCSEs. I left with a GCSE in drama. Obviously, I'm a drama queen, period. I went on to study after that. Level 2 I had to start at in the UK. I had to start off at a level 2, yeah? Because that's all my GCSEs could get me. Then I had to work my way up to a level 3. Then I had to work my way up to a level 4. Then after that, I went uni. All the way until level 4, I had a shit time. And I had a lot of other things on my plate, and I was interning the whole time. Like, not interning, apprentice, basically, like work experience during study. It wasn't going well for me. The moment I went uni full-time as an adult, 27 years old, started getting first straight away, instant assignments, doing psychology. I was like, what? I'm smart. How am I smart? Like, no, but I thought I was dumb. And I'm just sitting there writing this shit up, really lying easy, putting it in, I'm getting a first. Banging out first. In my first year, majority of my assignments were first. I think I got one. My first assignment wasn't a first. And then after that, I got first all the time, I believe. I was banging out first. And I was shocked, like, this is piss easy. Wouldn't have believed it. Couldn't have done it if I wasn't mature enough, old enough. And I didn't go through what I went through. And I went through a lot of embarrassment and rejection and a lot of failures. In my level 4, I was really shit. I was working full time doing that as well. And my grades were crap. I deferred. Every single assignment I had on my level 4, I deferred on it. And I had to do it again. Sometimes I double deferred. I only had one more chance to resubmit it. I couldn't program myself to actually, the level 4 I was doing, it was about theory and practice. So I really struggled with writing up the way I was practicing, or I was comparing the theory to practice, because it was so unaligned. That's the first time I really started to become a researcher and understanding who I was. So every time I failed an assignment, I was actually identifying real flaws in the system, in the education system, and real flaws in, in standardized ways of leadership and management, systemization. I was mastering corporate Loki, an institution, because I was looking at how the manual, the books, the literature says everything should be functioning versus how in practice it's impossible to align to theory. Because I'm not saying the institution or the place I was working for was the problem. I'm saying practice is forcibly practices this. We've got a whole range of decentralized protocols that force practice in this direction. But you're telling us theoretically things should be this way. Yeah? That's when I realised I was neurodiverse as well, because everyone else in the room was just passing standard and leaving and happy at the end of the day. I was staying extra, I was doing more time. I couldn't pass. I was struggling. I passed in the end, but really close. I was struggling every single fucking time. I couldn't understand the absolute skewed perspectives, the yin and yang, the polarity of what was going on in theory and practice was something I could not toe the line between. Everyone else just kind of found an even kill and sat on the fence and I guess done the bare minimum. But I was actually in the field. Yeah, for me it was field work, and I was actually aligning theory to practice over and over again, implementing all this stuff. I felt like that's what you should be doing when you're doing some kind of apprentice kind of NVQ kind of thing at level 4. You've got to implement what you're learning. I'm very I actualize, yeah, self-actualization. So my inability to self-actualize is what brought me on the journey, and that was a risk I took. And now I built all the stuff I built in my life, and I'm overjoyed about it. I couldn't be more happy with my future and what I've manifested for myself. And there's still a lot more work to do. But I feel free. I've discovered my own lane and my own freedom and my own happiness. And that came through a lot of turmoil. And I identify as neurodiverse because of all of my different spiritual gifts and abilities and my ability to communicate with the other side, see aura, read energy. I'm obviously clairvoyant. I obviously hear and can communicate with dead people. But I've been through some tests. I thought I had autism. They've said I don't have autism, but they do think I have ADHD. But I haven't been tested for that as of yet. Or I don't know if I even care or feel the need to. But ADHD to me is a real underlying trait of a lot of what we go through. I identify a lot with autism, and I really felt like I was on the spectrum with that. And I believe the spectrum of that really opens up a lot more broader. And the reasons I didn't get diagnosed was some really silly situations in regard to me not bringing anyone who could speak on my behalf. Because I do not have any family or friends that I communicate with from the past anymore that I want in my life whatsoever, in a medical room with me, that I want around me. I'd rather be undiagnosed than have contact with anyone else. They're part of the trauma and the irritation and the healing I have had to work through. There's no one suitable to bring into a room with me and sit with me. And that means you can't really get a diagnosis in the UK to a certain degree. It's quite sad, yeah? And obviously my speech and communication style doesn't lock in with autism at all. I'm oversharing with you guys now, but I think it's worth noting because there's a real conversation about DSM-5 TR here. But because my speech, the main thing was your speech is too good. But in childhood I was mute. Most of childhood I was mute. Then I turned into selective mute. Then I activated my clairvoyance, accepted it, and then or not even felt more comfortable with it, and then now I'm a blabbermouth. I don't shut up. For me, I identify the evolution in myself and what happens when my confidence is allowed to flourish, and when I go in hermit mode, when I do my shamanic practices, when I connect with the divine, when I'm allowed to really be me and I use my manic magic and I let the ADHD in me, the neurodiverse sides of me flourish, and I ignore all the people who tell me otherwise, and I make choices about what is or isn't the right medication for me, and that's mainly holistic prayer, ritual, mantra, affirmations, chakra healing, body scans, hypnosis, salt baths, seance, prayer, candle gazing, long walks in the forest, grounding my feet in mud baths. That's therapy for me. Talking therapy as well, I recommend. Cognitive behavioural therapy, yuck. For somebody living a unique life and not working for the man, if you don't work for an institution and you live a little bit of a muggle lifestyle, no offence, then CBT is fine for you. But if you have a unique life that is totally removed from the status quo, CBT is like psychological warfare for you, because they're trying to say, you know that this is what you do, right? No, I'm unhinged. Come out my face. I'm an innovator. Do you know what Web3 is? Do you know what decentralization is? Oh, you don't? Do you know what Bitcoin is? You don't know Bitcoin. Go away. Go. How could you try? We can't commune. No, I respect you. Thank you. Send the guidebooks. I'll have to use the guidebooks and create my own manuals. Send me the task. I'll do it. And I say that I've done the whole CBT level 1, and I've done what I was told to do. It was like what's the word? Needles. Putting needles in my eyes, because someone is telling me to do this stuff that is so not my stuff. And they're asking you and you're working with it through them, but I can't even help you comprehend or understand what my life is. Because this ain't nothing like what you're... I'm getting lost. Just look how lovely I was talking when I was being me. Now I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody who's telling me how my cognitive behaviour should be. What do you mean my cognitive behaviour should be this way or that way? My cognitive behaviour is the way it is right now. Why is that not okay? Why can't we just acknowledge that? And make that normality for me, yeah? Because I'm unique and I deserve to be me. This is normal for me. And that is normal for you. So let us all work on our own ideology of normal and then move forward. Which is impossible if you know how the world really works, and you understand why the DSM-5 is incredibly important, because, whoa, someone has to govern and control humanity. Take it or leave it. I'm telling the truth. I've told you how I really feel about the book, but I also know the other side. I know the far right. And I know what the world really looks like. And I know, for example, I advocate for LGBTQ. This is the last thing I'm saying on the way out, right? I advocate for LGBTQ, but you see how, like Trump and a lot of other people hate it. And the far right hate it. They have no choice but to hate it and make these negative remarks, because the way they look at it, and Elon, all the awful stuff he says and how he feels about his daughter who's transitioned, his transgender daughter, it really stems from procreation and their belief that man and woman are needed to repopulate the planet. Because the far right have the perspective to go, gay is sick, gay is wrong, gay is evil, because they can't make baby. And they push that narrative because they have this profound belief that we're going to have no one to repopulate the earth. If we don't turn this into negative propaganda, and if we don't hate on gays and stir this shit up, then who's going to repopulate the earth in time? Because more and more people will become gay. More and more people will join the LGBTQ. More people will be transgender, and the world will be skewed, and it will be more and more confusing. We need to try and keep things normal, yeah? That's the far right mission, yeah? So that's kind of what the agenda is. And it's interesting because when you look at it, you understand that there is an increasing issue with repopulating the planet. A lot of people are talking about it. But the way it trickles down and who they blame for it, that's what becomes the activism and the toxicness, and forces people to start targeting social groups and tearing them down and destroying gays, and then writing that gays are sick in manuals, because gay used to be a crime and gay used to be a mental illness. Do you see what I mean? Do you see how silly it can be? Same with the witch. What if loads of me were out here in these streets telling everybody the truth about the other side and what they really saw? Doing magic in public. proving that this is real, showing you that clairvoyance is real? What if I really told you that this was a genuine reading and everything I was saying was personally for you and right on, and I didn't give you 20 million disclaimers? Yeah? And I said, no, I do know you, this is personal, this is you. They'll be like, that would be awful. Because that means that there's this whole other reality that exists, and magic really is real. So why are we living this normal way? That means all these things that about mental health can't be true. If their other side is real, then what even happens if we die? Do we even need to keep breathing? How do we get to the other side? Can we learn to travel there? So many questions that we don't know how to speak on, let alone bring up to children. See the issue? So we glaze things with medication. But when does that glaze become hazy? Because the manual doesn't talk about me and my clairvoyance and the fact that it's real. It doesn't talk about psychic mediums and all of us who go to spiritualist church and sit there and get paid as psychic mediums to read for others and do a great job at it. I have read for people and given them the most amazing readings. Situations I wouldn't believe. People I've met on the other side that I would never know or see without connecting to that person. I've seen people's parents, grandparents, family and friends. I've had the most amazing visions during a mediumship experience. And I've gone to mediums who have done the same for me. I've met mediums who have changed my life. Got me here today. So I know it's real, but the manual don't talk about that. The manual says, that's a witch, they're off. Do you get what I mean? That's delusion. So it falls on us. We'll respect the institution. And I'll respect the far left and the far right on the basis that I respectfully open my ears to listen and receive what you say. Because it's about respecting the view of the other so I can ground myself in me. Yeah? So what is your experience of medication? Write it down. And what is your experience of no medication? Write it down. Keep a log, keep a record, and start to use all the information you get from everyone else around you, me included, therapist, counsellor included, whoever's around you, family, friends, co-stars included, content creators included, and start writing this stuff down. Start taking the exercises, the examples, the opinions that they give you, and start turning it into a narrative that inspires you, motivates you, helps you affirm who you are. Don't just conform to what you're being told by these individuals or groups, but really hear what they're telling you. Because it's about you listening and learning from that. You haven't got to take all of it in, but you do have to be open to hear the alternative perspective and then use that for you to flourish. Because you are amazingly gifted, beautiful. You're going to be outside a lot more in the forest, doing a lot more woodwork, I get. Building, oh, okay. A lot of wood and saws and making things happen. Nice, awesome shit. Okay, cool. Really edgy shit. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. That was nearly an hour. That was really long. But it felt really important to get out, okay? I hope that finds you well. Disclaimer, I do not know you. This is the general reading. Always talk to a clinical professional, always use your own advice, and always listen to other people, because it's always really powerful and more purposeful for you to learn from others' opinions and perspectives, because that way you can find balance. You could completely disagree with it, but at least you've heard it, and at least you know that that view over there on the far left, that view over there on the far right exists. So now you can find yourself a little bit more evenly based on that, yeah? Because you know where everyone else sits around you, and you know what you want to be further from or closer to on your unique journey in life, okay? Love and light, Libra. You're doing amazing. Keep going.